darkness, hope that's in the blood. There's future grace that's mine today, that Jesus Christ is one. So I can face tomorrow, for tomorrow's in your hands. All I need you will provide, just like you always have. I'm fighting a battle you've already won. No matter what comes my way, I will overcome. Don't know what you're doing, but I know what you've done. I'm fighting a battle you've already won. There's mercy in the waiting, manna for today. And when it's gone, I know you're not. You are my hope and stay. When the sea is raging, your spirit is my help. He'll fix your eyes on Jesus Christ. I'll say that it is well. Oh, I know that it is well. I'm fighting a battle you've already won. No matter what comes my way, I will overcome. Don't know what you're doing, but I know what you've done. I'm fighting the battle you've already won. I know how the story ends. We will be with you again. You're my savior, my defense. No more fear in life or death. I know how this story ends. We will be with you again. You're my savior, my defense. No more fear in life or death. I know how this story ends. We will be with you again. You're my savior, my defense. No more fear in life or death. I know how this story ends. Oh, I'm fighting a battle you've already won. No matter what comes my way, I will overcome.
Good morning, Green Tree. We are so glad to have you joining us today. Some different faces up here today, and we are glad to be here with you. If you do not know who we are the youth ministry team here at the church right now. My name is Ben, and this right next to us, this is Lauren Pritchett. Lauren has been our summer intern, and Lauren grew up in our youth group and grew up in the church, and so we have known her all of her life, and we've been having a lot of fun hanging out with her this summer, and obviously
Yeah, Brandon.
Mr.
I've been up here
Brandon,
before.
Mr. Brandon
I feel
Crosser.
just like lost lost my voice.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. That's weird.
It's probably because we've been going like really hard this summer and talking a lot. You were losing your voice last night before you started like teaching.
Yeah, I know.
And we're like, uh-oh.
Well,
hopefully he makes it through
what I
this one.
really think that it was because of VBS.
Yes.
The
environment.
I don't want to say anything poor about like the students that were there, but I was using my outdoor voice a lot more at VBS than I was at CIY and
Day
camp, so.
1 of junior high camp, I was like, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I am in trouble. But we made it. We survived. It was great. Today is July 31st. Summer is winding down. Do you guys know what is special about July 31st in my family?
Yeah, it's Harley's birthday.
Yeah. I have my youngest daughter, Harley, is celebrating her 8th birthday today. And so it's a really fun day. But obviously, this also signifies that summer is winding down. People are getting ready to head off to college soon, going back to school really soon.
Yep.
Lots of things. And we have had a really great summer. We're so excited to be able to update you today about some of the incredible things that we got a chance to be a part of ministry-wise this summer. With CIY and camp a month or so ago, me and Brandon came on here and asked you to be praying for some stuff. And we're just really excited to be able to share a few things. But we've got some prayer concerns. We know you're here to find out about ways that you can be praying for people in our church. And so we're going to give you a list today of lots of different folks in our church who are dealing with different things. We would love for you to be faithful in praying for them. We would love for you, if you have an opportunity, maybe write a card and send it out to them. That would be incredible. And so we're just going to kind of bounce around back and forth here. Brandon's going to go ahead and start us out with a couple of our prayer concerns today.
Yeah, speaking about VBS, I was able to help lead one of the groups that was there. And, if you see any of the kids that were at VBS, it's worth giving them a pat on the back because they raised a ton of money for Kyrson Christian Church. That is our mission that we were supporting during the week, which is also going to be something that we're going to be revisiting here.
I heard that number was like 1,000, like in a couple thousand.
Yeah, it was
like 3,000 something.
Almost exactly. It was
That's crazy.
$3,000.20.
Yeah, that's crazy. We had a great week. Brandon was there. Lots of kiddos.
Yeah, and it was really cool because, we got to hear a lot about our mission, but also they got to do a lot of messy arts and crafts, as that would go. And, I mean, some of them were really messy. But, it took a lot of effort. It took a lot of people. It took a lot of prep to get a week like that going. And it was just really cool to see how we have so many awesome people that volunteer at our church that can make an event like that happen. And there was so many kids. I've done this for a few years, and this is the biggest group that I've had. And I think I had just in my group, which was 4th and 5th grade boys, was around 30 boys.
Wow.
And it was 30
That's a lot of
4th
boys.
and 5th grade boys.
That's why you didn't have
a lot.
a voice. That's why you're losing your voice, Brandon.
Yeah, that's what I would assume.
Well, as we get ready to jump into prayer concerns, I do have one quick question for you guys just to start out the morning with, because we've been at church camp for a couple weeks doing a CIY in camp, and I want to know, what's one of your favorite food items that you had while we were at junior high camp? High Hill, thinking back to the cafeteria, people singing, making people ride the broom around the room, all those things. But what food highlight stood out to you from the week? Let's go Brandon first.
When we are doing CIY in camp, I usually get this hankering for Mexican food.
Oh.
And when we end up getting to camp, they always have Taco Tuesday where they have nachos and like tacos and things like that. And man, that is
Nachos were hitting good, huh?
It's
They help you make it through the week on that Tuesday. Miss Lauren?
It's good.
Yeah.
I think for me it changes every year, but this year it's got to be the spring rolls.
Spring rolls.
I think if I had to pick a food the camp made, it would be the spring rolls. And I know a lot of kids would agree because I was serving them, and I know a few kids that came back many times. But
Chinese night at junior high camp is a little interesting on the Chinese food sometimes.
Yeah.
It's the chicken nuggets with Chinese sauce on it, but it's good stuff. It's good stuff. And so,
Ben, I'm really curious about yours as well, because I think I know what yours is.
I'm gonna be interested to know if you think that if you got it right. But we had a lot of things. Me and Lauren were laughing. The Raising Cane's may have been the best thing that we had that we actually brought in for our 8th grade sneak in. But one of my camp highlights every year, it would have been the macaroni and cheese. But unfortunately, it was gone by the time I got up there, which was really hard. But my favorite was biscuits and gravy. That's my favorite breakfast morning.
Really?
Do you think that's what I was going to say?
No.
Okay.
I was going to go with Raising Cane's.
Oh, the Raising Cane's is incredible. All right, well, let's get into some prayer concerns. Brandon, take us away on our first 2 prayer concerns on our other page there today.
So the first 2 things that we have, we've got DJ Roshan. And he had a scan that showed up that his cancer has not spread, which that has
That's
been
great news.
a really awesome thing. That's a really positive thing for us to be hearing about. But he's got some upcoming surgery that's going to be in late August, and so that's just, as he kind of goes into that, just a prayer of peace and maybe some great answers and things like that in that situation. I know that DJ would really appreciate them. He's a great dude.
Longtime youth group volunteer. DJ volunteered in our youth
true.
group for like almost 15 years, working with students. Him and Kathy are great people, so definitely be praying for them.
And they were there long enough that they even crossed over into the time that I started coming and being a part of the church too. And so that was a cool thing. Another person, Jess Lane, she has a coworker, or she is a coworker of Ellen Weinball, and who works at Phelps Health. But she had twins last week, and there had just been lots of complications with that, and like they're in a coma, and so it's just a really hard situation. So any prayers that you guys have in that is going to be very beneficial and much appreciated.
Yeah, it's connected to somebody at our church. We got a lot of other things. Some of these are some people you may have known for a long time. There's a gentleman named Elwin Wax who's been a part of our church for a very long time, part of the Raleigh community, and he's been in the hospital. I know he's still out in the hospital, just having a lot of different complications and a lot of different issues with his dialysis. And so you could please be praying for Miss Debbie and Mr. Elwin Wax, especially while he is at the hospital, and their entire family. We have a youth group volunteer, one of our sponsors, named Jordan Parker, and she's got a friend named Ashley Pratt, who has been out at the hospital. They're trying to figure out what's going on. They've been able to rule out some things like a stroke and MS, but they did find a hole in her heart. And so her name is Ashley Pratt, and she's connected to one of our people here at Green Tree. And we'd love for you to be praying for Ashley and her family as well. We have mentioned Cody Fulkerson to you a number of times. Cody Fulkerson is one of our law enforcement officers. He's been a part of the Raleigh community for a very long time. He's been down in Houston doing those bone marrow transplants and other things. And you can just continue to pray for Cody Fulkerson. There's usually some updates that get posted online if you want to follow along with some of his journey. But I know that he is in for just continued for a long journey. And please be praying for Cody Fulkerson. We've got a lot of other surgeries that are up and coming, and Miss Lauren is going to be able to share a few of those names with you. Actually, before we do that, I just got a quick update from somebody actually about Cody Fulkerson. And so if you're following along online, they say they did his 30-day bone marrow biopsy, and the nurse told us today the results that will come back over the next few weeks. They'll bring it in a little bit at a time. But there has been some good news. He's been reduced to a schedule of twice a week for some of his different treatments. And so we're thankful for that update. We know that Cody and his family would love your prayers, so please be praying for them. And we've got some other surgeries that are up and coming as well.
Yeah, so we have quite a few surgeries of people that are part of our church and that we know and love, and you guys may too, but one that I know we've been praying for a little while is Maya Sherrill. There's still not a date set. We're not sure when that will be, but we know that there's surgery upcoming. Also for Megan Russ, I know that she's still waiting for surgery to get scheduled.
And if some people don't know Megan Russ, they may know her as her
Yes.
younger maiden name, which is Megan Bleckman. We've mentioned that name many times on here.
Yes. So she's same thing. She's waiting to get her surgery scheduled, and so please be praying for her as they get that situated. Also, Bonnie Hafner, which you might know, Becky Pernica. It's her mom. She had hip surgery this past week, and so she's going to be recovering from that. And just be praying that she'll be in comfort and peace, and that she'll heal quickly from that as well. And then Kim Bleckman, she has an upcoming surgery sometime late August, and so it's still a little bit away, but be praying for that as it's upcoming and as she's preparing for that.
And aside from them as well, there's also Trina Fitch, who has an arm and shoulder surgery. Well,
yeah,
man, that's
a tough
unfortunate.
one.
What
Justin
a rookie
and Chris.
move. Gosh, rookie move. It is arm and shoulder surgery.
You got it.
There we go. That was this last Thursday, July 27th. And so just
be praying for
recovery in
her.
that is I know that Trina would appreciate that too. Some of you guys might have heard Chris, if you were here on Sunday morning, just talking a little bit about the Fabers and their accident they had gotten into this past week. And that is something that we just want to continue and have prayers for. I know that that's a really difficult situation with that. It's 3 younger kids, and Josiah and Linda, they are great people, been helping out at our church, been really involved for a long time. And Linda was in the ICU, And, they were looking at Linda, and also the two younger ones were having surgery yesterday. And so I know that Talitha came out, and she's doing better in that realm. But, continued prayers over that entire situation. That's just a crazy thing. There was a lot of car wrecks this past week, and I would definitely say that the Fabers will be needing some continued prayers. I think that they've got a long way to go in some things. And
they're lucky. We're very lucky to still have them here.
Yes.
Lots of prayers needed for that family.
Yep.
And you got one more over there, Brandon, and then we're gonna start to wrap up our prayer concerns here.
Yep. I've got Jane McEachran, who she's somebody that has had pneumonia, and she is currently recovering. So just in that process of coming back to full health, just continued prayers for her is going to be really beneficial, and I know that she'd appreciate them too. So
anybody who's ever watched a Monday morning prayer knows, because Chris talks about this so much, that people can send in a prayer request on the app. And Chris makes sure to let people know that it goes straight to Justin. And we actually had a prayer concern that was submitted by Miss Patty Butler, who've known Miss Patty for a really long time. And she has a 19-month-old nephew named Crew. Crew Sharp is his name, and he is currently in the hospital dealing with a cancer transplant. And he's going to have a 3-week time period of isolation. And so Miss Patty asked for prayers for that. We'd love for you to be praying for that entire family, the Sharp family, as they deal with their little guy in the hospital for this. And then one last one from Miss Lauren.
Yes, the last one for this morning that we have is actually concerning Emma Cook. And so you guys might know her dad. You'll see him up here Monday mornings, or if you are regularly here, you'll see him Sunday mornings as well.
You might see him a couple times around
yes,
here, right?
Yes, or out in the coffee shop, and that's where you might also see Emma Cook. She serves there as well. But she's in our youth group. We see her. She this past weekend, she actually had a side-by-side accident with some of her friends, and she had to go to the hospital. She ended up dislocating her knee, having fractures in her wrist, and is actually going back to the hospital today to see if there's anything more serious and to get everything worked out with what may need to happen in recovery. And so we ask that you be praying for her, especially today. And then as
you actually
as she's doing
visited
this.
her at the hospital, didn't you?
Yes, we we went to the hospital to visit her, and she was no longer there. She was at home, and so we actually woke her up from that traumatic night.
I think we got to wake her up yesterday after church as well. But it was great to see her last night.
Yes.
She got to come hang out at Fuel.
Yes.
And she was moving slow, but we're so glad to see her. And we know she's got a little bit of recovery ahead, so you can be praying for their entire family.
I loved
Yes.
seeing that picture, too, that you guys got to take of Emma, because she's always so bright and chipper, and even with her little cast on and everything.
Yep.
she's just-
You can definitely be praying for all of them. We know there's a lot of different prayer concerns. We've got a lot of announcements to make, and we're going to make those very quickly as well. And then we want to give you just a few summer updates from some of our things that we've been a part of. Just very quickly, our golf tournament is coming up on Monday, August the 28th. It's always a lot of fun. If you have not registered yet, make sure to get registered. You can do that on the church app, or you can call the church office. We would love for you to come out and just have a really great day. It's always so much fun. But the deadline is coming up on August the 15th to get registered. We are still needing whole sponsorships and businesses from the church and other people who would like to help sponsor this event. And so if you have any questions, you can call the church office, and we'd be happy to help you. But we're looking forward to a really great day. We just want to extend a huge thank you to everybody. Today is July 31st, and for the month of July, you guys have responded so well, bringing Legos for Grace for Christmas. And every time me and a couple kids walk by, we always we have to peek in there to see if there's any really cool ones, because we love Legos. But the church has responded so well, and Grace has just been overwhelmed and so thankful for the support that our church has given. And if you have forgot to grab a Lego, today's the last day of July for this kind of drive, but you can still bring them by the office this next week, and we'll be happy to get them. But thank you so much for the way you guys show up all the time to do things. And speaking of ways to help out, we've got an awesome opportunity this week.
Yeah, this Wednesday is our food distribution at Grace out on 63 South. And you can come. We want volunteers to come and serve with us. Arrive anytime between 9 and 9:30. It starts about 10, so we get there a little bit early to set up and to get where you're needed to serve. And then it'll be done around noon. So yeah, it's out at the Dream Center on 63 South.
We've been flying the last couple months. We've had so many volunteers, and so you may even want to come on the earlier side, because we've been able to start early, and we've been out of there really quick too. It's been great to have people, summer volunteers that can't normally help during the school year. So that's this Wednesday. We'd love for you to come and join us.
You know, speaking of the school year, as we start kind of getting back into that, there's a big need that we have in our church, which is childcare. And as
Like childcare for small groups,
yes,
right?
and as we kind of start getting back into that, when small groups get back in, as the year is starting back up for a lot of those groups, we're looking for childcare. Cassie's needing some childcare workers specifically, and if you are wanting to help out with that, you can email her. You can get her more details from Cassie as well. But I know that she's going to be looking for some people.
That's a big job.
do that.
It's really important for some of our small groups, especially our small groups that have younger kids. I know my small group has benefited from having the opportunity to have our kids be watched here at the church by different babysitters, and they get paid for that job, which is really cool. But it really is helpful and beneficial for some of our small groups to have their time where they can spend time together and have those discussions. And then my kids love when we come to small group at church and they get a chance to hang out with their friends. And so if you're interested, you can definitely reach out to Cassie. Well, that's a lot of stuff about our church, a lot of different prayer concerns, announcements, and things. And they asked us to come in today because our summer has winded down, and we had a really great summer. We already got a chance to share earlier when me and Brandon came on in the summer about how incredible our Dominican Republic mission trip was. And we asked you to be praying for our weeks of CIY and church camp as we went back to back on those. And man, we had 2 incredible weeks.
There's a lot of answered prayers.
A lot of awesome moments from those 2 weeks. And we're excited to share just a few things with you just very quickly. We're thankful that to have a church that's always supported our students and has given so much to help them go on some of these trips. And we know every year we've got kids who benefit so much just because people in our church help give to where a kid can go and experience a life-changing event. And people have asked me, man, how was it? I'm sure you're worn out and tired. And it's like, yeah, but that was 2 incredible weeks. Those are like our big ministry weeks of the summer. And so we're so thankful for that. I'm going to talk just very briefly about CIY and then kind of turn it over to each of these guys on our youth ministry team to be able to share a few things. CIY this year was a really awesome year for us. We had a big group of people. We took 113 people, which is one of our largest groups that we've ever taken. 2004, when I was in high school, was a little bit larger than that. But since that year, this is our biggest group that we've had. And we know numbers aren't everything, but man, we had an incredible week. It was so good to get back to Lincoln, Nebraska, which even in that group of 113, we had very few people who had ever been to that campus.
Yeah.
And that's one of our regular campuses. We loved it. We had so much fun. I'm going to let these guys share a few things with you because we've got some exciting things to tell you. But what an incredible week CIY was. Always is. And we're so thankful for the ministry that CIY does to host incredible events that not only impact our students, but also I know all of our adults get impacted and encouraged and challenged by that as well.
And, just talking about a lot of our adults, we don't always get the chance to tell you guys just how lucky we are with the leaders that we have. We have a lot of really great men and women that serve within our youth group that are just wise, very godly people that love to invest time into our students. And, they sacrificially give a lot of time, a lot of energy, also thinking about some of this.
They're
And,
staying up late.
even vacation days,
That's right.
like, because some people take off work to go with us to CIY. And
let's be honest,
cool
those
thing.
beds that they sleep on
yeah.
in the dorms
doesn't
or those
They're
beds
awesome.
at junior high camp. You say awesome, Lauren. You're still young. When these older bodies start to lay down on those beds, man.
But we took 16 leaders with us to CIY this
was
year.
incredible.
And, all of those people are so amazing. And, one of the things that's really beneficial also about having a lot of people would probably kill to have that many really great leaders. And I know that we are super blessed
We're thankful.
to have that. And, we get thrown some real curveballs at times. And I can tell you what, having that many people that came with us made it where there were situations where things had to be dealt with, maybe a vehicle with a tire problem or whatever. And, we were able to have someone go and deal with that and never had to take away from someone having to lead a small group or something. And so it was just super beneficial. We are so, so lucky here at our church to have the leaders that we have. Something else is, it's really interesting to see the end of the week of CIY that we had compared to the very beginning. It was really hectic getting in. Honestly, I would say that our travel was really
Easy.
fun getting
It
up
was
there.
smooth.
That was a blessing right there, just because normally we have an issue with vehicles and stuff like that, but I don't think we didn't have any issues getting up there. There was an issue with the main building that we were going to have our first session in, and because of construction work, and they lost their power. And so it was a hectic first day once we got there, because some things got postponed. And I tell you what, though, like, I think your guys' prayers were so beneficial, because we saw, even though it was hectic in that first day, that very evening, even though things were thrown out, we started getting really deep really quickly. We started having a lot of really awesome conversations. And if you look at the end of the week and how it progressed, it is hard to see that it was so crazy in the first day. And it was a very, very successful week. It was really great.
Yeah, and I think something that's so awesome with our kids and with our leaders and with everyone is how like united our group can be during the week. I think while things are crazy, while we might not know everybody, while roommates are just two to a room, and we see just how united the group is. And so there's not a time really that students are left out or that they might not be invited to something or welcomed into something, but instead, no matter if it's during a session, during small group, during free time, whatever it is, the students are all just really connected in what they're doing. And just throughout the whole entire week of no matter if it was something fun or something serious, everyone was really connected, and something that I've got to see kind of grow in our youth group, which has been really, really cool.
Yep.
We got some good kids.
Yes, absolutely. And then also it was cool to see a lot of the decisions that were made this week at our CIY camp. Students had an opportunity to go and drop these chains that were symbolizing just the weight that sin has on us, and dropping them was just letting them go and letting Jesus take over our lives. And we actually had 7 girls who made first time decisions, which is so awesome. And 3 of them have been baptized now.
We've got another one coming up.
Yes, this
and some
upcoming
other
Sunday
things.
should be another
Wow.
one. And so some really great decisions were made, but also students that made decisions to like rededicate themselves to Christ and that wanted to take their faith more seriously and their relationship with Jesus more seriously. And it's been really cool to see them make those decisions for themselves and in their own will, and decide when they come home that they were going to change things.
It's a powerful week. It always is a powerful week for our students. We're really excited to see what life change is going to take place. Because of that, sometimes we get home, the dust settles, and we see students just stepping up a lot. And so we're really excited about that. You can be praying for our students as they're back home, as they're back into the swing of things, and they're trying to continue to let this week impact them and move forward. Junior high camp was incredible. It was awesome.
Yes.
And High Hill, just so you guys know, our church has supported High Hill for a number of years. That camp is continuing to improve things, make things incredible. And we're doing everything we can to try to wind things together and bring things to make it a cohesive and fun week. And we make changes, and it's awesome. So really quickly, if you guys can give us just very fast, like an update about something from camp as we get ready to kind of wind our morning down. It's a long time. We know there's a lot of updates to share with you, but just very quickly, if you guys can wind that one up.
The immediate thing that I think of is we had a lot of students, a lot of new students, a lot of old students, some students that came from our Tuesday after school program. I think we had 30 students that had never been with us to camp over that.
It was great.
And so that was really cool. And then, obviously we had the returning students had to come back and get that Blob t-shirt. That was a good time. Again, talking about our leaders, we had a lot of really great leaders. Some of our students that were at CIY that then came to camp for us to be leaders there, also joining in. They lead our worship band, and you see a lot of them up here on stage. So
got it. Okay, really quick.
Yeah, camp is a lot of fun, so we got to enjoy a lot of things together. But other than that, we've also got to just dive deep with one another and in our small groups and have great conversations about girls and guys that want to make decisions to follow Christ as well. It was really cool to see how they're now stepping up in their faith and making those mature decisions as well.
Why don't you go ahead and pray for us real quick? I know we're almost out of time, so we're going to pray real fast. And then hope you have a great week.
All right.
Go ahead.
Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you so much for this church and how well it supports the members and also the students. God, I'm so thankful for this summer and how you've shown up and how you've moved in just a lot of kids' lives, but as well as just people in our church. Lord, I pray that we can be a faithful people just praying for our members and the ones that you love and we love, Lord. And I just pray that we can continue to look to you in all that we do. It's in your name.